Welcome back to the podcast with me, your host, Pete Tigers. I didn't sleep that well last night. I was dreaming a lot. I was dreaming of rivers. I was dreaming of lakes. I woke up this morning. It wasn't a dream. I'm in Patagonia. It took 30 odd hours to get here. But as I stand here and talk to you now, the sun is just kissing the top of the hills and mountains in front of me. There's a lake in front of me as well. Last night, some of the guys fishing here put waders on. Darkness was coming. They'd heard there was a caddis hatch, and they were right. They caught some fish that were rising and started this adventure off perfectly. I'm out here with my friend Ray, who, if you listen to the podcast, I talk about a lot. We've fished together around the world and we've spent special birthdays together. And this is my special birthday year, and this is how we've decided to try and mark it. And what I'm going to try and do on this episode is share some of the adventure with you. It's just stunning. It's beautiful scenery. This is the first morning. I'm always a little bit nervous. We just met the guides for the first time. They're loading stuff into the trucks. We're going to be fishing a river, and we're going to see how we get on. Anticipation's high, excitement's even higher. I can't wait to be able to share this with you. Probably could have or should have recorded some more, but the fishing has been amazing. We've been in a pontoon boat or an inflatable boat and just drifted the river. Ray's very kindly given me the front of the boat. He's fished at the back. We fished a mixture of streamers, dry dropper, and caught fish using all of them. Maurizio has been outstanding as a guide. He's put us in the right spot. The advice has been absolutely spot on. The things I'm noticing, I said to Ray, if you're on one of these big American rivers, for example, you'd see farms, you'd see drift boats everywhere. We're just not seeing anything else. We've seen a couple of the guys who are in the lodge at the same time, and that's it. There's just silence. You can breathe the air, and it's clean and clear and beautiful. You could probably drink this water as well. I'm going to check to see if that's all right. I'm going to try some just to feel connected to the river, but it's been amazing. We caught fish. We caught plenty of fish. We caught our share of fish, and it's been just extraordinary. I'm going to find out a little bit more, or show you a little bit more, or tell you a little bit more about the river, but it's probably 80, 100, 120 feet wide. We do a mixture of fishing. You'd think that the fish pulling the streamer will be in some of those deep slots, but Maurizio's been saying that the shallow water by willow trees have been where some of the nicer browns will hang out. And my first fish of the day was a really nice brown trout that was exactly where it said, in those sorts of spots. But the water's so clear that the fun part of the streamer, and I've stuck with it, just because you can see the fish chase the fly down, and they've not always ended up biting it, but the speed they come in at it, sometimes you feel like you can't strip fast enough, but it's been absolutely amazing. As I said, we've seen sizeable kingfishers, much bigger than the ones we have at home, probably twice, 2.5 times the size. We've just pulled up again with Ray's just fishing a seam of some water with his dry dropper at the moment. I'm probably going to throw the streamer in. Fred Brown, props to you. I've been using your streamers and they work just fine. I've caught a bunch of fish on those, and I'm really sorry I bust off in one of them. I caught hooked a sizeable fish that just went whack, hit me, broke the tippet. So it's been one of those epic days. We're sitting in the shade. It's getting on for 5:45 now. Sun's still out. It's still bright. There's a lake where the lodge is. There was a caddis hatch last night. I think I'm going to go take a look at that a little bit later. But we had an amazing day with Maurizio today, covering water, advising, just on the oars. You don't get the idea of how skillful these people are until you're actually standing in a boat with them. And I know crap guides and I know good guides, and he's certainly one of those. And what an amazing start to the day. But I've barely turned this on. I've barely taken any photos. I think we photographed the first fish I caught the day, and that was it. But we caught plenty, and it was one of those amazing days. So thank you, Mauricio, for an amazing day. Can you tell listeners just a little bit about where we are right now?
Bueno, hello. We are in the takeout, which one is the Lago Verde, Green Lake. And we float between this lake and the Lago Rivadavia, which one is north from here. And the river we just float is Rivadavia, the name of that one. And it was a pretty good day.
It was. He's being extremely modest about his skills and everything that he's done. And, you know, Ray was fishing a dry dropper, and I stuck with the streamers for the reasons I said earlier, that just learning so much by watching how the fish react. And at home I'm fishing streamers, but I'm not seeing what's happening. And I was amazed at how fast the fish will come after a fly and how far they will go for it, which is amazing. But I guess, you know, you're incredibly proud of your water here, aren't you? And this river you love very much.
Bueno, this is one of the most beautiful rivers in the world, you know. It's all side fishing, gin clear water, so much structure to fish. As you say, you know, with the dry droppers, streamers, and the variety and the quality of the fish is such a blessing, no? And by the other side, how many people you saw fishing today? No, it was crazy. We saw only one boat, and I was trying to rush because I didn't want they go ahead of me because I was throwing the streamer. And the fish here tend to be in shallow water, really tied to the willows or the tree line or the logs. And once they see a boat, you know, browns, they are picky, you know. They go down, they don't want to move until they feel safe again. At least that happened in this river. So I'm very happy.
And where we stopped for lunch was extraordinary, that I had to jump out and catch a couple of fish I'd seen where the boat stopped, which I was very lucky. And then Maurizio said, come have a look down here. And it was a spring creek. Super spooky fish. I said to the guys, just leave me here. And I'll get a sense, sizable fish in a river that's probably 10 feet across, but incredibly spooky, slow-moving water. We saw a couple rise. We put on a beetle, but I wasn't good enough. So that's one that I'm going to have to log and remember. But that's pretty cool. It's one of your favourite places, that Spring Creek, right?
See, it's same thing. You know, those fish are... in my style is... when it's harder, it's even better, you know. And it proves you and, you know, show your skills. And you have to be very accurate with the casting, presentation. And then you have to read what they are doing, you know, matching the hatch, the behaviors. It's so slow-moving water, so they have plenty time to think what they are doing there. So that's why I like it, as I say, even harder and even better, no?
I'm exactly the same. Well, that was an amazing start to this trip. So I'd like to say a huge thank you for making it such a memorable start. And yeah, that was one of those special days. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're very, very welcome, man.
Yesterday we fished a lake in the morning for a few hours and then drifted down a river and we pulled some streamers. I ended the day with a really nice fish, 23, 24-inch fish, rainbow, strong. The fish are really strong here. Ray did really well. I caught a brook trout in the lake. And then some rainbows. I caught a brown trout as well. It was amazing. We've headed somewhere else now today. I don't know if I'm supposed to mention it, but I'm going to talk with Brian perhaps a little bit about where we're heading. But it's one of these places that you hear a little bit about and then you get to visit it, and it's a lake we're fishing. And that's the lovely thing here. It's a mix of fishing as well, and it's rivers predominantly that we fished the first couple of days. And today we're going to be fishing a lake, but I'm told the size of the fish, it's never guaranteed of course, but the size of the fish are supposed to be quite special. Not many of them, hard fishing. And we've turned up and the guys were saying that it can often be incredibly windy here, and there is not a touch of it. It's flat calm. I'm standing on a rock high into where we're going to put the boat in, seeing if I can spot a fish. But I've seen nothing at the moment, but the water is absolutely crystal clear. So I don't know if that's going to make things a little bit more difficult. I've seen some midges in front of me. I've seen one lone caddis as well. So we're going to see what Brian suggests, and we're going to go from there. And we're going to be spending 3 days fishing here, 2 nights. So there's just the 4 of us. There's Ray, me, Brian and Miha. And on the way over, we've listened to a lot of good music. We've been singing, we've been shouting, and had a great time. So, yeah, we're going to get a bit more info in a moment. We're going to set up our rods now. So I'm with Brian, head guide at Argentina Waters Lodge. We've had an amazing road trip so far, listening to good music, eating sweet things, laughing, having a good time. But we're at the water now. I see you've got your game face on already. You ready? Tell us a little bit about where we are, my friend.
Well, we are in Rio Pico area, in lake number 3. We'll fish for rainbows and browns, and it's having a great day because it's not that wind. In this area is a lot of wind mostly of the time. And well, that's it. Let's take the challenge.
And there's some special fishing here, right?
Yeah, it's a special fishing. We don't have too much fish in this lake, but they are big fish. It's all about 20 till 27, some fish 30 inches. And especially the browns are so big. Well, our setup today is a floating line and some nymphs. Sometimes they prefer streamers, but mostly they are looking for little bags close to the reeds and weeds. Well, we'll see what happens.
Let's give it a good go. We've only been on the water a couple of hours, hour and a half apparently, Brian's saying, and I landed a fish, really, really strong fish, which Brian said was one of the smaller ones. It was still a nice one. How big was the first one?
How big was it? 23 inches?
23 inches. And then we've worked, there's a section out from the bank that's probably, 200 yards, 150 yards, something like that. And then there's a big section of weed. And I was casting along the edge of the weed, had a fish take, and they just want to go in that weed. One came off, and then the next one, my cast was probably 2 or 3 feet out from the edge of the weed. Fish took, went straight in that weed. There was just absolutely nothing I could do with it. So this is a learning curve. I think the gloves are off. This is no more Mr. Nice Guy. So we're going to see. But Brian's saying it's an amazing day already. You know, it's absolutely extraordinary. We've even we've seen a couple of rising fish as well. And we have plenty of water to cover. We've literally done one bay, really. So, and it's a big lake, big lake, probably 800 acres, I would say, something like that sort of size. But yeah, the fish are extraordinary. They're strong. We saw a rainbow brown trout working in the weeds as well. Covered it and plopped it in the weeds, but you know, it would have been a suicide mission anyway. But it's just fun trying, and you know, this is sort of fishing that I don't tend to do a great deal of. But I cannot tell you. I was saying to Brian, I've seen a bit of fishing, done a few things, but still shaking with excitement when moments like this happen. We've got the whole lake to ourselves as well, I should say that. There is nobody else here. And we're staying, I think, a short distance away. I think the plan will probably be tonight that we all go down, everyone grabs a rod, and we fish tonight. I've seen a few caddis on the water, one spinner. We'll see. But yeah, this is just a different sort of fishing altogether. Should say the lake's not super deep as well. So as a result, the clarity of the water isn't crystal clear here. I'm told on some of the other deeper lakes it is, but I think that works in our favour as well. And Brian gave me a black fly, and I think that sort of sits out a little bit as well against it's a tinge of colour. You know, you can see down, I'm watching him on the oars, and you can see the oar completely clearly in the water. So, you know, it's not like it's turgid brown or anything. It's just a slight hint of colour towards it. But yeah, this is just amazing. It's end of day. The sun's almost setting. We've been out on the water a long time. When I started today's section of the podcast, we talked about these mythical fish from this sizeable, beautiful lake. And do you know what? It threw one out. Didn't throw one out for me. I had a couple of come unbuttoned, but it happened for Ray. I was throwing against some reeds along the bank, and it's kind of like pike fishing in some respects. And at one stage, Brian took me right in the reeds, and I was popping short casts in and waiting or hoping sometimes that a fish would come out, but it was almost as much fun as catching a fish, trying to land a cast in between some reeds and rip it back quickly and see if you needed to hang on. But it didn't happen. But Ray was throwing out into the main lake and some magic happened. Tell us a little bit about it, matey.
Well, it's like you said, I was throwing out into open water using a sink tip line and waiting about 20 seconds for the fly to get down, stripping in quickly. Fishing in that kind of water, there's no structure, no point of reference, so you just strip in and hope for the best. And I got lucky today. A nice rainbow came to the net for us, and it was very, very satisfying.
This thing screamed off, and it took a bunch of backing out as well. And Ray's been incredibly modest about what happened, but it was pretty epic. And the line just fizzed. Brian had to leap across and tighten down the drag as well so that the line didn't overrun. But Brian, how big do you think that fish was?
27 inches.
27 inches. That's big. That's big. That's double figures. So a bit bigger than the sea trout you catch around the coast, buddy, right?
Yeah, well, I'll take them both, Pete. I'll take them both. They were both fine fish. It's been a wonderful stay thus far for us. I think, I think the people that we've met thus far in the trip are pretty well resourced and have obviously been able to afford an expensive flight ticket and an expensive stay at a lodge. But the fishing is really, really challenging, but rewarding. Anyone coming down here thinking that they're going to, buy a big fish is mistaken. You do yourself a great favor and improve some of your angling skills before coming down here to get the most out of the trip, because you can have a fish of a lifetime, but it's not going to come by luck. It's not going to come easy. When you're ready, come down here and experience Patagonia fly fishing.
Welcome to day 2 at Rio Pico. We're on a different lake today. It's a big lake, bigger than we were fishing yesterday, and it kind of feels a bit like Rutland, that it has 2 arms to it. Different sort of lake though, completely. Water is crystal clear, and Brian thinks that fish will come up because it's so clear and eat a dry fly as well. I don't know if you take these things as signs, but just as we pulled up, a fish rose just in front of where the guys are setting up the pontoon boat at the moment. So could be a positive thing. We'll have to wait and see. Not much ripple on the water at the moment. I suspect we would probably prefer a little bit more ripple, but we'll have to wait and see. But lots of water to explore. It just is absolutely stunning. It was a good drive in, bumpy road all the way in. Again, makes you feel like you're really alone. And at the moment, certainly, we have this huge expanse of water just to ourselves. I think it's mainly rainbows and browns on the menu for today as well. I guess we're going to be fishing tight to the reeds where the browns might be hanging out. They're going to be strong fish, I'm told. Again, a good size, after Ray's big one of yesterday. And, the one I had was whatever, I can't remember what Brian said, 23 is still, I'm thrilled about that. And I hooked 2 big fish that just went straight into the weeds, and there was just nothing I could do with them from there. And I was casting sort of 2-3 foot away from the reeds, so there's a slight inevitability that they're going to dash for that, and you've got to sort of lock on and hold on and trust all of your tippet, your knots, just about everything else. But I can see the Andes just the other side of one of the arms of the lakes at the moment. Apparently Chile's just the other side as well. So yeah, we're fishing on the borders here. We're going to see how we get on today, but not so much wind, like I say. The sun's out. The morning's cold, and I'm in a Primaloft jacket at the moment, and I put an extra t-shirt under my sun top as well, just to be on the safe side of things, in case the breeze comes up in the afternoon. That's what it did yesterday, so I'll be watching that. There's lots of tiny little fish rising in front of me at the moment. Perhaps that's bait, but dry dropper is the way that Brian wants to fish, so that's what we're going to do this morning and see what happens. I said at this opening segment that there were rainbows and browns, but I didn't realise there were brookies in here as well. My first fish of the day, just probably 20 minutes of fishing, is probably the biggest brook trout I'll ever catch. Brian, you didn't tell me there were brook trout in there, and you didn't tell me how big they are. They're amazing. How big was that fish, my friend?
Well, that was like 8 pounds at least, and 21 inches. They are so fat. Maybe they are not that long, but they are so fat. Perfect quality in that fish.
And the water here is pretty flat at the moment. And riding out, I said it was so clear that you could see the fish as we were riding out here. And it's been an amazing start. So, yeah, I don't know if I'll ever catch a brookie like that again, but that was something special. This place is something special. Well, I said something about that would be the biggest brookie of my life, and it's just been another 10 minutes or so. Dry dips, I hit it, and it's another fish, and it's a brookie. How big this time, Brian?
Well, 24, 25 inches. It's just unbelievable fish. You are working great, and it's a little patient, waiting for the strike, because we are working with just nymphs and dry flies, and they are very active. It's coming a good day.
The morning's flown by. It's been fish, casts, and extraordinary morning. We've caught a bunch of fish. We fished really simply. That we had a chubby Chernobyl dry fly, which, if you don't know, it's sort of a American hopper pattern that's nice and buoyant. And then I've had about 4 foot down from there, just a copper john. And Ray's had the same too. And the fish have enjoyed eating that. And the story behind it's a nice one, because just after COVID, when they were allowed out here, Brian and his wife came down here, and his wife had an indicator, and he tied on a copper john just to see, and then all of a sudden it started catching fish, and it's caught us a bunch of fish this morning. Brook trout, rainbow trout. Ray's caught another sizeable rainbow trout. I've caught some nice brook trout, and you know, the ones I'm used to, they're all beautiful fish. Brook trout particularly are absolutely stunning, but some of these are like little rugby balls, or like rugby balls. Beautiful, but well fed, strong. You know, the fish are incredibly strong, and you're seeing them in this crystal clear water. It's been one of those amazing days. It's just, I'm trying my best to try and sum it up, but it's just been one of those good ones. And we've just said, look, let's just pick a few bits and pieces for lunch and then fish some more and see how we get on. But yeah, just extraordinary fishing. You've got to be, we're casting in towards the bank, and there's a lot of reeds, and you're generally casting towards there, sometimes out. I've thrown cast out into the main body of the water and caught fish as well, but if you hook one nearer those reeds, you've got to hang on. So big side strain, and then keep the rod up as well, so that they don't get caught on reeds. And just before lunch, I lost a fish tight. It just went in. There was just not a lot I could do with it. Perhaps I could have kept the rod a little bit higher to keep it away, but you know, that's where they're going to head. So you got to sort of be a little braver, and then just keep that tension on. Obviously, barbless flies. And then what we've been doing is getting it to the boat. And early on I said, look, I don't really want any photos sort of held up and stuff like that. But I saw how Brian treats the fish. So the fish is netted. He gets either me or Ray ready with the camera, lifts it up, unhooks it, lifts it up, puts it back, and it's as simple as that. So the fish is just not out of the water for any time at all. He cares deeply about the fish, and wants them to swim back strongly. And every single one, I hate using that term, swam away strongly, but these fish are strong. They fought strong and they swim away strong as well. So wanted to mention that because you might see some of the socials and stuff, but believe me, there is absolutely no way I'd be in on this if I didn't agree with it. So he is, fabulous with the fish and the handling of the fish. And I would say it's out of the water, if anything, 5 seconds, if that. So it's no time at all, if that. So it's incredibly, and if they go, they go. And a lot of the time we wouldn't have taken photos, or we don't take photos, and care deeply about it. Today is day 3 of our road trip before we go back to the lodge. Yesterday we got back, it must have been about 8 o'clock. The guys cooked steak, we talked, we laughed, we played music, drank Malbec. It was a good night, it was a good day. The thing I was thinking about, I just couldn't yesterday sum up what an amazing day it was, and to be in touch with brook trout that I'd only ever read about, 5, 6, 7 pound brook trout that hit flies so hard and fought so valiantly and so tough, like backstreet brawlers. They really were incredibly strong. I was fishing 5 weight rod, a loop, which was extraordinary. It got a proper workout, and you get a sense of catching sizable fish on lighter tackle. You get a sense of what they're capable of, and it really lived up to the billing. I'm really pleased with how it's performed so far. And we're at another lake today, and this is, I believe, brook trout only. I don't know that they're as sizable, and I think the plan is to pull some streamers to see who's home and see how we get on from there. But the sun's shining at the moment. There's a bit of cloud on the horizon. They say the wind's going to get up in the afternoon, and that is a constant down here, right down in Patagonia, that the wind does blow. So the guys are used to it. You have to think about your casting a little bit in these situations. And, I always say if you're coming to places like this, have a tune up, practice a little bit. Perhaps, if not, get a lesson or two to how to deal with wind in certain situations, how to cast in certain situations. Then it makes it easy. But it's been fun fishing from a boat. We're back on a river tomorrow, but I'm going to try again to capture as best as I can. It's so difficult because the fishing's so extraordinary. It's the sort of thing I've not experienced before. And if you said to me, well, and we fished plenty of rivers so far as well, but the lake aspect of it, I probably would have gone, okay, I'll have a look. And now I'm just addicted to this. It's just extraordinary. These vast expanses of water against mountain landscape is breathtaking from the way that it actually looks, but also when you start to cast a line as well and catch some fish. And we yesterday was an extraordinary day, even by Brian's standards, but today may not be, but that doesn't matter. Just being in these sorts of places and with the chance of perhaps a fish would be amazing. But yeah, I'm a convert to this, and there's things, I don't fish reservoirs at home a great deal, but it's got me thinking about those a little bit more as well, and fishing those and trying some of the things that we've tried today. And a dry dropper does work. It's a fabulous way of fishing, and having fish eat the dry fly as well. And the takes, it was funny, I've seen some of these films from Patagonia where these fish lift up in the water and hit the dry. But yesterday I think I have 3 on a dry, on a chubby Chernobyl, and they just whacked it. They just really hammered it. There was just no way I just had to lift as these guys hit it. And that's one of the things as well that Ray and I were talking about with this form of fishing. It's so intense you know, that you're concentrating on watching that dry, tweaking it a little bit. What can I do to bring a fish in? All of those sorts of things, so that you're ready the moment that fly is taken. You're there and you're absolutely on it. And yeah, you know, it's out of my comfort zone of sort of fishing, or the sort of fishing that I actually do, but I bloody love it. It is absolutely fantastic. But I'm watching now. It looks like there's chironomids hatching. There's some birds working over the water, eating what is hatching. It looks like chironomids to me, buzzers, but that would be my guess. Midges, yeah, midges. I can see the adults here now. And there's a bunch of fish working the bay just to my right. The lake here, oh, I've seen a fish rise as well. The lake here, I would say at least 700 acres at least, and I've only seen part of it, so it probably goes a fair way further. And the term alpine lakes, I guess it's that sort of style of fishing. We're up relatively high, and the water's going to be cold. As I said, we've got a backdrop of mountains just about wherever I look at the moment. It is just sometimes you have to stop and look what is around you as well. And I probably said on one of these segments, you know, if I didn't fish, I wouldn't come to places like this. I wouldn't experience these things. I'd never have headed down here. I'd have had no reason to, but because I hold a fly rod, I'm able to. And yeah, it's just extraordinary. The wind came up a little bit more and we still caught some fish. It's moments like these that you realise that practicing your casting, understanding how to position yourself so that when the wind's blowing you can make a cast that's easy, and you're probably not going to whack yourself in the back of the head with the fly as well. So that's been really, really fun from that point of view. The guys parked the boat up and we leapt out and made a few casts from the bank, and I got lucky and caught a fish from there as well. So it's been another amazing day. At the start of the day, Brian said the brookies in here were a little bit smaller than what we were catching yesterday. Smallest I think we've had is probably 3 pounds. 3 to 5 pounds, I would say, is probably the size that we've been catching. These fish are darker. The ones yesterday were much, much lighter fish, but these are a lot darker. Almost look as though they're preparing or thinking about spawning time, and everything's a little bit more magnified. Everything's a little bit brighter. They're black in the mouth, all of those sorts of things. It's just such a beautiful, beautiful fish. It's been fun sort of fishing from the bank as well and employing reservoir tactics. And, you know, we've called it streamer fishing, but really it's lure fishing with a bait type pattern, a gold bait pattern. And it's worked really well with the sink tip. It's given me some thoughts about streamer fishing as well for when I come home, and reservoir fishing too. And, you know, I'm looking as I'm speaking to you now, and there's a lovely scum line, you know, wind channel in front of me. And I'm thinking, yeah, perhaps if there were rainbows there, they'd be working up that right now, picking up buzzers and stuff like that. But the sun's come out. It's really, really warm. It's really, really beautiful. Yeah, it's just, I'm trying really hard not to talk about this in the way how exceptional it is, but believe me, it's absolutely exceptional, down to the guiding and the company from Brian and Miha has been fantastic. And, you know, at the end of the day, when you're tired, you've done a day's guiding and you want to go to bed, they cooked dinner for us, and Ray and I are really uncomfortable with stuff like that, and we wanted to help with the washing up and all of those sorts of things as well. But they were there, and we came down in the morning and said, look, don't set up too much for breakfast, just give me bacon, tiny bit of scrambled egg, and I'll make a sandwich. That'll do me perfectly. And they've looked after us so well, and that contributes to it all. Obviously, being with my buddy Ray as well has been fabulous fun. I've enjoyed every moment of it so far. Tomorrow's our last day of fishing. We're going to be back on a river. I think we're going to be floating a river between two lakes. So we're going to do a bit of both, I think. My guess is that we'll probably start on the lake, see what's happening up there, and then float down the river. So that's going to be our last day of fishing. I can't tell you how quickly it's gone. It's just extraordinary. And you know what they say when you're having fun, and it's exactly been the case here. But You know, I went to Argentina 3-4 years ago, loved it, loved the people, and all this has done is make me realise that I love it even more probably now. So Brian, that was Brookie Land, and it lived up to expectation. Another amazing day on the water. Thank you for that, my friend. It's an amazing place, isn't it?
Yeah, just beautiful, and you did it great. Well, this lake is just amazing. We were smashing those brookies with the streamers, and the colors of the fish was just great. All the fish was around 19, almost 20 inches, but they are so fat. Not that long, but they are fat, and I think around 5 pounds, 4 pounds, 6 pounds, some fish. And yeah, that was great. Beautiful day.
And like you said, the colour of these fish, much darker, much brighter than the fish in the other lake from yesterday. Is there any reason for that?
Well, that depends how is the bottom of the lake too, because the camouflage of the fish, we got more bedweeds around this lake, and they spawn almost in the same time. In April, March, April, they start spawning, and well, for that they are turning different colors and stronger, orange and greens and beautiful spots. Yeah,
just amazing day again. Thank you so much.
Our pleasure. Thanks for coming.
It felt right to speak with Mihar too, as he's a trainee guide at the moment and probably one of the most efficient people I've ever met in my life. You know, I just asked him for a bottle of water to have in the car. He said, "Oh, I've filled up your water bottle already." But aside from that, he's a talented musician. He's a talented fly angler because I've seen him casting as well. But this role as a trainee guide, do you enjoy it?
Yeah, I really love this. It's a beautiful place that we have here. Patagonia is amazing, and I'm glad that you discovered this place with us. We share great music, great moments, some days that I will remember for the rest of my life, I'm sure about that. And well, the fishing here, like what you see, is great. We have amazing quality of fishes, big sizes. And well, I hope you will come here again, because we can enjoy this like anytime you came, because well, I really love this place. I really love fishing, sharing music, and playing the guitar. We will share some music with the guitar when we go back to the lodge. And I'm really glad that you had those great fishes, because you deserve it. You're great people, and I hope to see you again here.
Hopefully we will one day, hopefully. Can you tell people, because guiding, I think, in this part of the world and places like America, New Zealand is really, really full on. It's hard work. And I recorded something earlier and said, you know, at the end of yesterday, we didn't get back till late, and you guys came and cooked us dinner, and we were trying desperately to try and help you. But your role as a trainee guide, what does that involve? What do you do with the job?
Well, we do a lot of things. We just give our best always. We start in the morning, taking care of everything we need to fish. We make everything look brand new, like cleaning everything. And well, we take care, like our guests as best as we can, you know. Well, we try to make the experience better, because we are interested in the guests to feel all the experience, not just fishing, just, you know, I mean, like all the experience, the food, our culture, you know, to know and share all the places, beautiful places that we have here. And well, it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure for us to share like this.
We've been driving down from the mountains and we pulled over to the side. We saw one condor, then we saw some more, and we're just standing now watching 13 condors just floating on the thermals right now. It's pretty spectacular. Brian was telling me that there was a time when the gauchos would kill them because they thought they would take sheep. But they're not, they're scavengers. They don't have talons and they just pick off on dead things. It's just quite remarkable seeing them just floating around. Great big birds floating on the thermals right now as I look down onto the valley away down below us. We've just been driving down a gravel track basically for the last hour or so. We've still got a long way to go, but pulling over, being able to see stuff like this is special. Really, really special. So I'm with Laura and Gonzalo, who own the lodge. And the story of how this all came about is a fascinating one. And I know you're going to love to hear about it because it's a real passion story, but also of hard work and determination as well. So how did this all happen, Laura?
Okay, well, it's a long story, but I try to make it shorter. We are from Buenos Aires, Argentina's capital. And in 2001, we were both cooking chefs. So after a big crisis, economic crisis in Argentina, we decided to move and live somewhere else, and we chose Paris because we were chefs. So we were living there for 2 years, and after 2 years, we heard Argentina was doing better, and we said, "Oh, maybe we can go back and do something different." Gonzalo was always passionate about fly fishing, so we said maybe to Patagonia, but we don't know. So we came here 25 years ago. Without knowing nobody, we were young, we didn't have kids. So we came here, and after some months, we found this piece of land that it's awesome. It's in front of this beautiful lake where you can catch big brown trout. And we bought it, but we didn't have money to build a lodge. So after many years, we were working as outfitters. Gonzalo was guiding, I was cooking. We saved some money. In the middle, we have our kids. Our family was getting bigger. And in 2017, we built this lodge. And since then, we are working here
in the beginning, it was small.
In the beginning, it was small. Now it's a little. Now it's now it has the size we want. That is maximum. We can host 10 people, but we always like the 8 people. Because it's the perfect number we can handle, we can talk to the people, get to know them.
Protect the water.
Putting them in the right spot every day, not somewhere because we have to put them in the water. So every day is choosing which angler is going where, with guide, that kind. So that's how we are here. How we are here.
And Gonzalo, like you say, your passion for fly fishing, and you were guiding or outfitting. And from what I gather, that you started sort of guiding people, and Laura was cooking and putting that together. And is that how the lodge, sort of the idea of the lodge came about? That you thought actually we could make this work, but perhaps on a slightly larger scale?
Well, in the beginning, it wasn't in my head to have a lodge. In Argentina, many guys says. When you have a lodge, you are done. No, don't put a lodge. That is very bad. Continue in that way, hosting small groups. We continue hosting small groups, but little by little, when the years pass, we have more requests. No, more people. In that way, you need to say, okay, I need to do something. I need to have more space or. To have a lodge.
When you have your own space, you can put yourself in there, like with the food, way you host the people, way you talk to the people, everything. You can put yourself there. If you have it if you do it in another place, it's not the same. Here is our house, It's our house.
We feel much better in that way, It's like our house. Guests are here fishing in our house.
That's definitely how it feels to me. And of course, with your chefing background, with both of you and Juan as well, the food has been absolutely extraordinary. I guess that's part of it for you as well. And it feels to me, like you said, you used the word our house, and it feels that the love comes across in the food, but also from you guys with how you interact with people. And I've seen and watched that. And it seems to be it's all working fantastically well for you. That's how it looks, and your love and passion comes through deeply in this whole project.
Yeah, we like it. We really enjoy what we do,
Yes.
Of course, yes. It's a job, but we really like what we do.
We like to host people. We like to new people, to have new friends, because that is, we have many guests that they come every year for 15 or 16 years, and we are friends. They are not more clients or guests. Now they are friends, and that's very nice. We really enjoy to be here during all the summer. We are here with Laura. Sometimes the kids came here too. They are in town, but sometimes they came here. But we really like to pass time with the guests here in La Lodge.
And that is, we feel it because we have a 60% of people coming back every year. And that's huge, They come year after year after, and we feel so good because we know them already, You know what they like, how they like to fish, with whom they want to fish, what they like to eat, where if they want to sleep here or there, We know them already, and that's awesome. We really like it. We really like it.
Yeah.
And it's really nice that everyone sits around the table in the evening and we chat, and then there's a caddis hatch at about 9 o'clock. So everyone goes down to the lake. Some people put their waders on, others don't, and they will cheer each other on. And sometimes we catch a fish, sometimes we don't. We have, I think, most nights as well. So it's been great from that point of view. But from a fishing perspective, Gonzalo, as well, that this area, you chose this area because of the mixture of lakes and rivers that are on offer?
Yes, but and also when we decide to move to Patagonia and start looking for a place to do this, to have our outfitter company and now Albe Lodge, we started in the north of Patagonia. Patagonia is very, very big, and also is very big talking about different kind of water and different places to fish. Of course, there are another organization in all the Patagonia. There are few lodges, but talking about why I decided to be here and to put the lodge here, it was more because here it was, in that time, it was like no pristine, but no many anglers, no many companies. We have another 2 lodges, and we fish in the same area. Again, it's not a lodge compared to north in Patagonia. There are, I know hundreds, but there are 20 or 30, and that's pressure in the water. And that is quality fishing too, And here we saw that. We saw really, really no untouchable place, but really many less boats and anglers fishing in this area compared to another areas for fish trout in Argentina. And that for me was one of the decisions to be here, It says, no, these waters are really good. A really, really busy day in the water is 4 more rough, and that's a really busy day. But normally when we float or alone or with another boat raft in the river. But for a river or for a lake, the waters are really big here in Patagonia. We need to float all the rivers. It's impossible to wade in the rivers. Of course, moving with the boat and stop to wade is a possibility, but not directly wading. We need to put a boat in the water because the waters are really big. You saw that when you fish here. That was a decision to be here.
And your environmental credentials, you talked about fishing pressure, which is a wonderful thing, that you didn't want the rivers pressured too much, and even down to the bottled water. And the guys give you a drinks canister to fill with water each day instead of taking a water bottle with you and using those. And was that a conscious decision to really want to be as green as you possibly could be?
Yeah. 100%. And to be honest, it was our kids who told us, have you seen how many plastic you are wasting every year? And we said, okay, it's true. We need to change that. In Esquel, in the whole area, there's a big conscience about taking care of the planet. We divide the compost and always in our houses even, and we do it here at the lodge. And that's one of the main reasons why we have this bottle, that you can take it back. And it's a very good bottle also. It's not those bottles that you will throw. It's a good bottle because you drink a lot of water. Everybody drinks a lot of water.
And the water we have here is amazing. Why to buy water in a plastic bottle? Okay, we don't know where the water came from, and we have a very good sprinkler here in front of the property with a pure water, and we use that water. Of course, we add some chloro just to be sure that nothing happened with the gas. But the water we drink, the guides and people who live in the area. We used to drink the water in the lakes and in the rivers. In all the water you see in Patagonia are maybe 90% of the water are drinkable.
You can drink it.
You can
In
drink
all the lakes and the rivers, you can drink.
Yeah, you are
We
fi-
do it.
you are
We don't
fishing.
tell the guests to do it
Claro.
because you never know.
but
we drink it.
we drink. The guy too. You put the angler there, you are fishing, and the guy put a glass, boom, and drink the water in the lake. The lake where you are fishing is amazing. It's amazing to live in this world, in here, in that kind of
See,
nature.
Nowadays.
That is absolutely extraordinary. These are hoping, as I always say on this podcast, that when you get to know the people, it's easier to understand what they're doing. You might see them through social media, and we're going to get web details and socials in a moment, but you get a sense of what the people are behind this. This isn't a big corporate entity. These are good people trying to do a good thing and look after anglers and give them a good experience. So I can only shout about that, and will continue to do so. But if people listening, and we have people listening from around the world, and if they want to head to Patagonia, it's a dream destination for many people, myself included, and it has lived up to expectation and beyond. I've run out of words to describe the fishing that I've experienced on this trip, and I'm not saying that for any reason other than it has been extraordinary. So I've got one day left, so I'm going to enjoy every second of that. But if for people listening, if they want to find out your website, your socials, how do they do that?
That's www.argentinawaters.com. Then we have Instagram, that is @ArgentinaWaters, and Facebook, the same, Argentina Waters.
I would go check it out, and even if you don't get to come down here, give them a like, give them a follow, and let's spread the word about good people doing good things. This is the last morning. It's early, had some breakfast, pancakes, scrambled egg and bacon, a lot of maple syrup too, some coffee. I'm looking out over the lake. Don't know what we're going to be doing. I think we're on a river today, and one of the rivers we had on, I spotted a spring creek, and I said, would there be any chance I can get a look at that? So I think we're probably going to be riverbound today, but it's gone so incredibly quickly, and it's amazing. A couple of the guys, Jeff and Brad, are heading off now to chase Dorado in the rainforest somewhere. So the first two from our group are leaving, so it's kind of strange from that point of view. So last day, but yeah, it's just gone so quickly. It's been a blur of fish, laughs, music, lots of stuff. But yeah, I'm just you might hear a noise in the background. There's one of the lodge dogs having a roll around. They found a bone or something. So he's just enjoyed that. Before he starts his day, the guides are having their meeting. So we'll figure out where we're going, what we're doing, and take it from there. I'll fill you in with what happens, and we'll see how we get on.
I have these flags. I don't think they're gonna work.
The plan has slipped into place beautifully. Guy said, "What do you fancy doing?" And we were drifting the river, and I said, "Can we stop at the spring creek we saw on Sunday?" And we're back with Mauricio, and he said, "Hey, do you want to fish it?" And I said yes. So we're just setting up in the car park at the moment. It's whatever day it is. I've lost track of time. It could be Saturday. I can't even remember what day it is now. And there's a couple of cars in the car park already. So they're local anglers. And, you could get upset about it. But, geez, these people have got more right to fish this than I have. They got a day off. They want to go fishing. I kind of like that. So we're going to see what happens. We'll be following them, I guess. But Mauricio said, look, I've got somewhere else. It's a bit of a walk if needs be. So we're going to try that. So I've tied on. I said I just wanted to fish dry fly. So I've got a small caddis pattern on. And I'm trying different rod. I've been using I think I said the other day, the Loop 7X, which has been outstanding. It's been a 9.5 foot 5-weight. And it's coped with some really sizeable fish without any issues at all. But I've also got the Z1, and it's a 9 foot 4-weight. So I'm going to give that a little bit of a go on this spring creek today and see how it is. Really, really light. It's one of the things that I noticed. That was the thing with both these rods, actually, that I found how incredibly light they are. And You think there's nothing behind them, and then you watch the line go flying out. And certainly the 7X coped admirably, a 9.5 foot 5 weight, like I say, but copes admirably with either a drive dropper outfit of a big chubby Chernobyl, and then, you know, sometimes I was fishing a 5 foot dropper off the back of that, and it still cast it without any problems at all. And then throwing streamers and stuff like that, not a problem in the slightest. So yeah, nice work. This has been a pretty intense session so far. River is absolutely crystal clear. It's probably at the widest, about 35 feet across. It doesn't look incredibly deep, but the fish just cruise round in here, and they a bit wary, I think, is probably the best description of it, that they see a few flies, I would think, and I've had a few follows all the way in until the last moment. There's a sizeable rainbow just in front of me, almost under my feet right now while I'm speaking, and they just sort of mooch round, looking incredibly wary. You know, I tried to dry. I saw one fish rise and tried to dry, and even the fly on the surface of the water, a fish made a point of going around it. So it looks like they're going to be hard earned. If I caught one here today, I would be absolutely over the moon. I fished early on with Federico, and the fish, we put the cast in the right place, the fish followed, they opened their mouths, but they didn't bite. And that was the pattern. And then we saw Maurizio, who'd been fishing with Ray, had got Ray into a fish and got busted by a really nice fish too. He said, "I have a fish for you." So I got set up, sat on the edge, and a fish just came in front of us, and I bow and arrowed straight down in front of it, left it, and it just came out and ate the fly. Did everything right, set on him, was really, really pleased. And it looked like it was coming into the net. There wasn't much there. I'd got the head up and I thought, right, this is fine. And then it sort of went to the other side. There's tree branches, there's all sorts of stuff on the other side. And I thought, I'll give him a bit of light pressure to keep him off balance a little bit, and then he put on another burst of speed and broke me, and I was really angry. I get angry at so little things, except when I make a mistake like that when I'm fishing, and that really sucked. Anyway, a few minutes later, Maurizio spotted a fish. It was a long distance out actually, and I had to sort of throw a very high back cast. The chances of getting to it, I thought, with tree all around us, was going to be pretty tough going, but somehow I managed to fluke a cast in there, and we saw the fish take, and I was fortunate enough to catch a nice brown trout, so that was great. But Maurizio, Federico, thank you so much for your help. That was fun, right?
It was awesome. This place is awesome. It's sight fishing for them. You can see them when they take your fly. It's make you shake. You know what I mean? You start shivering, and this is a great place. Even, I mean, if you break them off, it's just so much rewarding when they take your fly in this so clear water, very smooth. I'm having a blast.
He did an amazing job, and he's been very, very polite, even if they break you off. That sucked. I'm not accepting anything for that. I made a mistake. But this, if you're a regular listener, you'll know when I fished the Lathkill with Damien, that it was similar, but there's barely any flow, so the fish patrol round, and you just have to sometimes stake them out. But it, as Maurizio said, it is just crystal clear water, and they see everything. As I said, even just a dry fly, I saw a fish just move around and away from the dry flies it floated over it, and that's how spooky the fish are in here. So it means all the more. I think that's probably why I was a bit frustrated with myself, that, you know, I know how tough these fish were, and I thought, oh, that's my chance. And I said to the guys before this, one more fish would be the perfect way to end this amazing trip. And the guys put us in that spot. We had a brief spell where we saw a couple of fish rise, but popped on a beetle pattern. But again, the fish are just so spooky. It's extraordinary how spooky they are. Getting a cast to them is really, really difficult too. That there's the back, you can't wade because it's too deep, and it's squidgy, muddy bottom, and there are trees right the way to the bank. So you have to kind of either send a really high back cast, roll cast, bow and arrow. It's real stealth fishing. It wouldn't be for everyone, I don't think, but this is just why I love fishing. You know, the challenge of trying to get a cast to a fish and not spooking it just is pretty special. Well, Mary, that was an amazing day. Thank you so much for that. It must be nice for you as well, walking instead of being in the boat and on the oars.
Bueno, muchas gracias, Peter. Thank you very much. You know, I like it all, man. It's different. Because when you walk, it's like you are stalking, you are hunting, you lie down, you try to go behind the trees or whatever, give you a teeny bit of advantage for those fish in this specific place, no? And floating, you can have access, you cannot when you are walking, no? And you can see them from a different perspective, and I mean, I like it all. It's different, that's why I like it so much. See.
Yeah, it was amazing, and it was, as Mary said, you know, you sometimes had to bow and arrow, you had no room for a back cast sometimes, and, you know, I actually lost a fly today as well, and that was kind of interesting, but having to work through the water, figure it out. There were some other people on the water as well, and the fish were super, super spooky as well, and sometimes you were putting flies in front of them, and then occasionally you get a fish, follow it, and then pull away at the last minute. We saw fish chase in, mouth open, you think you're going to eat it, and then pull away at the last minute, that sort of stuff. But that's the fun of it as well, isn't it? And being able to see it because you're on the bank. So I should say that we weren't wading in the river, you couldn't. So you're walking along, you're looking for any spot that you can poke a rod through and get a shot at the fish. And it's fun trying to spot the fish. And I'm pretty okay at spotting fish, but Mauri just takes it onto a whole nother level. He's really good at seeing them, spotted fish that sometimes I just couldn't see, but he managed to spot them and get me a shot at them. So I'd like to say a huge thank you for an amazing day, a fascinating day. It's one of these places that I'd like to, it gets under your skin, and I'd love to learn some more and have another go at it. And I should say about the size of fish as well. Some of them are real big tanks in there, aren't they?
See, I mean, I saw at least 3 or 4. They were like 27 inches. Those brown, the one we saw underneath those logs, or those one underneath the seaweeds. I mean, the weeds, man, they are some big ones. The rainbows, they're like football, no? They're 23 inches, 24. That's a big ass fish for that place, man. And you find different species, no? We hooked some brookies, browns, rainbows. So it's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah, it was amazing. Well, thank you so much for such an amazing day.
You're welcome, man. Thank you very much.
We flew back from Esquel into Buenos Aires, and we stayed in a hotel overnight. We went to a restaurant that Laura and Gonzalo recommended, ate Argentinian steak, drank a glass or 2 of wine, and enjoyed the last night. I'm about to head back now. Ray's staying on for a few more days to explore Buenos Aires. It's a beautiful, beautiful city. The sun's out. It's incredibly warm. I'm just about to get the flight home, or get across to the airport to get my flight home, and I'm flying into Amsterdam, and then amazingly we found a flight that will get me into Exeter as well. So my travel the other side, although I've got a long hangover at Amsterdam, it doesn't matter so much because I don't have to make a long drive home. So I'm really, really pleased about that. I'm a little bit sad as well. It's been a fabulous trip. We said goodbye to the people that we met at the lodge at the domestic airport as well. So they've gone on their way to various other places around the world. And it's just Ray and I now, and I'm shortly going to say goodbye to him. We've done many, many trips together around the world, but this has been a pretty special one, matey, hasn't it?
It has, Pete. I think both of us have done an awful lot of fishing separately and together. And I hope that there's better trips in the future for me. But I can honestly say that there has never been a better trip in the past for me. It's really been an outstanding trip, the quality of fish, the quantity of fish, the size of the fish, the quality of the guiding, the quality of the accommodation, so on and so forth, has just been something I've never experienced before. So I don't have enough superlatives to describe the trip, really.
And that's been one of the things that I've been saying throughout this as well, that there isn't, and Ray and I don't usually do this sort of lodge experience. We'll stay in a B&B, we'll stay in a cheap hotel and stuff like that. But it's been amazing, and because it's a special occasion for me, we decided to push the boat out a little bit and give it a go and see what it was like. And it really has been fantastic. And to escape, what has been a really miserable February and a miserable winter as a whole. The rain stopped. I'll be coming home and I'll be landing on the 2nd of March. My thoughts turn to my home river, my beloved River Tor, and I'm looking forward to making some casts for salmon early on. But I'll also be thinking about, we were just talking before we started recording about that last day and on the Spring Creek, thinking about that, and you're thinking in the back of your mind, wow, this is my last shot. It may be my very last shot at a fish in Argentina as well. And it's felt to me that the world is a lot smaller now, and, to find as close to remoteness as you possibly can. And our drive into the rivers or lakes every day was down dirt tracks, and it felt as though we were properly in the back of nowhere with unpressured fishing, not seeing any other boats really. That was the extraordinary thing about it. So it felt that kind of way. But it was strange, wasn't it, when we were just talking about that downswing that you have after such an amazing trip. And I'm lucky that I'll be fishing for salmon again soon, so that downswing's not going to be very long. It's going to be a matter of moments, if there is any. But those last moments on the river, you sort of try and hang on to for as long as you possibly can, don't you?
Yeah, and we shouldn't feel sad about all the things that we've experienced on this trip. We should feel happy, and we should feel grateful. But as any good fishing trip draws to a close, you wish you could have just one day more. It's going to draw us back for more, I think, the next time. And you're looking forward to the start of the salmon season. I'm looking forward to other things. So it's time to look ahead. And that sadness, I think, is going to give way to some very, very fond memories.
And this podcast will be one of those, and I really do hope you've enjoyed this experience. And I've tried to capture as much as I possibly could, the emotions, the view, where we were fishing. It has been absolutely extraordinary, and I've enjoyed every single second of it. It really has been wonderful. I hope you enjoy this podcast. As ever, there will be many coming very, very soon. But thank you. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope you'll continue to enjoy the podcast.
Thanks for listening to the Fly Culture Podcast, brought to you in association with the Voice of Game Angling, Trout and Salmon, where Pete is the editor.